Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about the play Death of a Salesman, written by Arthur Miller. Now, before I go into the summary and analysis of this play, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and/or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. Now, in this play, we look at the American dream and pretty much the pursuit of the American dream. We meet a man by the name of Willie Loman within this play, and he is a man who has been traveling salesman all of his life. For over 30 years, Willie Loman has been going across America, selling and trying to become successful, but he's not rich, he's not wealthy, and Willie wants to be wealthy. His brother Ben, who died before the play even began, went to Alaska, went to Africa, had a lot of adventures, and made a lot of money. And all of his life, Willie wanted to be exactly like his brother, but that's just not the case. At the beginning of the play, when Willie goes home, he finds his son Biff and Happy at home, and this is something that's just completely sad for 2020, for the 21st century, or at any time when you come home from being a traveling salesman and you find your 34-year-old son and your 32-year-old son at home, living at home, and not making lives for themselves. It's something that it's just not something you want to see. And this kind of like makes Willie's world very dark. And in the play, we see Willie borrowing money from his next door neighbor, Charlie. Charlie is a well off man, and a good friend of Willie, but somehow Charlie can become successful and achieve the American dream, but Willie can't. And this is kind of like a constant thing throughout the play where we see Willie is friends with a lot of different people who are rich or who are wealthy or who are doing great things, but he can't do it. And it's something that the play doesn't show us that Willie hates these individuals, but it's something that you could imagine that if you're an individual and everyone around you is successful and you're not, it's something that could bother you. So in the play, we see Willie, he's trying to make moves, he's trying to find a way to make more money, to become to achieve the American dream. He asks his boss for a raise. He doesn't get it. He actually gets demoted and then later gets fired, and so everything is just going downhill for Willie, and he just doesn't know what to do. In the play, it's kind of like Willie has some sort of mental disorder, or his mind is just not in the right place. We see him like um, go from the present to the past and from the past to the present, and he's thinking about how things should be and how, where did he make such wrong turns, or what he could have done to make his life better. And we see him talk to his deceased brother Ben a lot and trying to figure out what to do, or pretty much talking and having this dialogue with his dead brother to figure out how he can make himself and his family, his son, successful. This doesn't work, and he's just out of answers. The thing is, from Murray's perspective, is just his life is just not good. His life is just not where he wanted to be. But if we take a step back from Willie's perspective, his life is not that bad. He has a mortgage. He has a house that he's paying off. He has two healthy sons that are they're working. They're living at home, but at the same time, they're not poor. They're not living in poverty. His sons are healthy and alive, and they have their own dreams. They don't want to be successful and rich like their father wants to be, but at the same time, they're not doing nothing. Willie is just obsessed with wealth and power and money and people liking him so much that even what he has and what he's achieved in his life, it just doesn't seem like anything to him. And so the play goes on, and we see Willie trying to work with his sons, trying to figure out what they can do to become rich and wealthy. Biff and Happy, they try to create a sporting goods store, their own business. They try to get a loan for it, but that doesn't happen. And there's a conflict that develops between Biff and Willie throughout the play, where we see that Willie cheated on his wife Linda. Linda is of course Biff and Happy's mother. She's this wonderful woman that takes care of the house, that takes care of her husband and her boys, and she does everything that she can to keep her family together. But the thing is, like, Biff, finds out that his father cheated on his mother. He had an affair. He even gave this girl stockings, which were extremely expensive at the time. And Biff, really, he's mad, he's disappointed. How could you do this um, to him? How could Willie do this to him and to his mother and to his brother? And so we see this relationship between Biff and Willie. It's not really the most healthy relationship. This individual that's supposed to be the patriarch and the person that you're supposed to follow within the family, he's the one that cheated on your mother. And as a son, it's something that's hard to take in and then try to trust your father and try to build a relationship with your father after he did that to your mother. And so that's something that takes place throughout the play. And we see the significance. Another thing that's really significant is Linda. Linda, she feeds Willie's dreams, right? Willie has throughout the play he develops, or he holds on to these unrealistic dreams and hopes of making it in America. And Linda tries to keep his the flames alive, and they can't stay alive because it's just the American dream. That's one of the central ideas within this play, is that the American dream is not universal. Not everyone can become a part of the American dream, or not everyone can become a millionaire or a billionaire in America. Most people won't. But sometimes it's not to focusing on the American dream and wealth and power alone. It just makes your whole entire life pass by, and you never get to live it. So by the end of the play, there's not really a lot of answers. Biff and Happy are not, they're not successful. They're not rich. They're not making more money. Willie doesn't have any more choices. He doesn't have his job anymore. He doesn't have money coming in, and things are not doing well. And during one of his flashbacks, or during one of his episodes with talking with his dead brother, he gets this idea to kill himself because he has this life policy on himself, and if he dies, $20,000 will be given to his family. And Willie's thinking that maybe Biff and Happy will take this and start their own business. And so he goes off, and during this one day, he just takes the car, he speeds off, and he gets into a car crash, which was intentional, and he dies. And before he even does this, Ben, in this flashback or in this vision that he was having, tells him that it's not guaranteed that the company will pay for your death. And Willie says, no, no, no. I've been paying the insurance, the life insurance. Of course, they're going to pay my family this money. So he's the 63-year-old man. He sees that he can't make the American dream. So he kind of sacrifices himself so that his kids can take the money and do something with their lives. So he kills himself. And next thing we see his funeral. They bury him. His wife Linda, who's been supporting him no matter what, who tried to get her sons to fix their relationship with their father. She did everything that she can. And when he dies, Linda is trying to say, like, why did you kill yourself? Why did you do this? We finished paying off the mortgage, the house that they had. Linda paid it all off with the money that she was saving from Willie, and the money that they had over the years. She paid the house off. There's Biff and Happy had jobs. They could take care of themselves. The family could have survived, but since Willie wanted to be rich, he wanted to be successful. That wasn't enough. So Linda is, she's sad. She's crying. This is something that's, she can't take it, because they had enough to go to live on, to live with. But he kills himself for that $20,000. Um, the house is paid off. It's theirs. They're not in debt. They don't owe anybody anything at the end of the play. But Willie's dead. And there's some hint at the end of the play that maybe Biff and Happy will take that money and do something with it. But the thing is, the same way that Willie was obsessed to the point of death with the American dream and being successful, it doesn't seem like his sons are on that same path of destruction. Of it's either I'm rich and wealthy, or I'm dead. Um, and that's pretty much how the play ends. That's the death of a salesman. Um, in terms of analysis, when we look at this play, it for me, from my perspective, it's kind of like it's true that the American dream is not for everyone. Not everyone that exists in America. Not everyone that not everyone can be a part of the American dream. To be a part of the American dream and to make millions and billions, um, and to become like a person of uncountable wealth, you know, it's not about having a 9 to 5. It's not about having a raise. Willie wanted to uh, sell as much as he can, climb up the chain, the ladder to success and wealth. But the thing is, when you look at it, and when you look at his brother Ben, Ben didn't make his money off of having a job. Ben went to Alaska and to Africa when there were a lot of resources that he could exploit. And he made his money off of having adventures of selling things that way. Um, so the people within his world that made their money, or that made their thousands and perhaps millions, they were the bosses, the industry creators, the adventurers, the people that left the country and figure out other ways or new ways to make money. Those are the people that truly achieve the American dream. Um, Willie worked for 34 long years, 30 plus years to make his money, but it was never enough. And he died thinking that he could leave his family something. But his death, in some ways, it wasn't really, it didn't really mean anything because his sons are not as hungry as he was for wealth and power. Willie just wanted people to like him, and he thought that money was the way to make people like him. But he just suicide doesn't really make people like you, and it didn't even really, it didn't bring him closer to the American dream. So from my own perspective, the universal idea or the universal concept that you can get from the play Death of a Salesman is that the American dream is not for everyone. The other thing I would say with this play is that sometimes you got to appreciate what you have and what's in front of you. Like Linda tells, or after Willie dies, she's like, "Why did you kill yourself? We finished paying off our house." They had a house. It wasn't a mansion, but it was a good enough house to live in and to spend the rest of their days together. Their sons were working. They weren't millionaires, but they had jobs and they could take care of themselves. Willie had a healthy family. He had a home that he paid off for over 30 years. His mortgage was paid off, and if he gave Biff and Happy some more time, they could have found something that they enjoy doing. That maybe it's not making them millionaires, but they could have created a comfortable life for themselves. But that's not the name of this play. The name of this play is Death of a Salesman. It's not Give Your Kids a Chance. So that's the play. That's my perspective on it. And that's a summary and analysis. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.